Howdy YouTube viewers and gear fans everywhere. Thanks for tuning into the MoveOTX channel of gear reviews, and in case you couldn't figure it out on your own, we're not talking about watches today, we're talking about knife sharpening. And you're seeing me here with some of my well-used EDC blades and utility blades galore. And you see me review my Kershaw, you see me review this CRKT, and for the longest time now I've been using very dull knives until very recently, and I'm able to put paper shaving sharpness back onto my edges very affordably. Okay, these aren't razor sharp. Okay, I can pop the hairs on my arm if I really want to, but the real question here is, how sharp do you need your knife to be? Okay, now for me, the answer is not very sharp. Okay, just like you could just paper slicing sharp, that's perfect for me. I don't want to invest any more money, time, or effort to get a blade that much sharper than that. So for this Kershaw with the deep belly recurve, this is my campsite food preparation knife. Okay, and it's good for that because the deep belly recurve. Okay, the CRKT is my trail pack carry kind of knife. It's big, bulky, and heavy, but I'm able to put a paper slicing edge back to that blade, and for what it's worth, you know, this is, I think, my sharpest knife too. Okay, now it's got serrations on it too, which I'm snagging, but it's got serrations on it too there. So, but my EDC blade, my pocket carry every day, is the Spyderco Dragonfly. And actually I take it back, I think this one is the sharpest of all the knives in my little arsenal here, and as you can see, I'm very easily able to whittle paper, no problem. So let's clear the table, clear the bench, and talk about how I got these knives to be this sharp finally. And I say that because for the longest time I've just been using like kitchen steels and things like that to try and put a burr back on these edges, and basically failing miserably. So that brought me to this. Okay, this is the Smith's 3-in-1 sharpening system, and I chose this one over like the Spyderco Sharpmaker and the Lansky systems because it has a diamond hone on it, in addition to the carbide tip cutter, which I never use, but it's got the diamond hone on it. Now I figure, as abused and neglected as my blades were, they're going to need something more than just ceramic rod. They're going to need some good old-fashioned grassroots, whatever you want to call it, metal smithing with a diamond hone. And so this is, you know, it's only about an 800, I think, grit, and only an 800 grit hone that's on there, but you wet it with a little bit of water and you dab it and keep it wet, and you basically train your hands and your muscles to draw the blade over that hone at a fixed, consistent, repeatable angle. And when you do that, you'll put your V back on your blade, and basically you're good to go. There's actually a lot more experienced, actually way more experienced users on YouTube showing you how to do that with the Smith's 3-in-1. So I'm not going to do that, basically because I'm still trying to figure out my own muscle motor skills and trying to develop my own skills. I don't want to show anybody the wrong way to do it. Okay, and you know, I ran into some troubles with that. It's basically very fatiguing. Okay, so it's the most labor-intensive part of this whole thing, because you're doing this for, you know, a lot of passes, and it requires a firm grip and steady fixturing, steady, repeated hand motion. And so because of that, fatigue sets in, muscle fatigue. You know, it just really tires out the hands, and so that's been part of my learning curve. In fact, I think it was on the CRKT where I actually put the wrong angle on it using the diamond hone, and I couldn't properly realign burr and refine the burr edge using the ceramic rods. So, and that, I knew that going in. I knew there's going to be some learning curve here associated here, you know, with using the diamond hone, and that's okay. I've grown to accept that, and I'm getting better at it as time goes on. So I've only owned this for about 3.5 to 4 weeks, so this is not out of box new. The ceramic rods insert into the fixture here, the fixture base here, and they just slide right in. The nice thing about the Smith system is it has either round or flat diamond surfaces. Here, let's turn my camera on. There, either round or flat diamond surfaces. Now, my understanding is for harder steels you'd want to use the flat, and for softer steels like what I have, the round is perfectly okay, and for the most part the round surface is the one that I use. It also has a corner edge for sharpening serrations, which I haven't really needed yet on this one. They're still pretty sharp, so I'm good to go with that. So primarily I use the round surface on the ceramic rods, and you've seen again other people use this sharpener on YouTube. You just basically draw your blade over those ceramic rods and you're good to go. You know, yeah, it actually feels different. You'll actually feel a coarseness or a sensation. There's a feeling and a sound that you hear for and listen for when you're drawing your blade across there. And when both sides are equally nice and smooth sounding and smooth feeling, at that point you will have reached a nice aligned burr edge on your blade. So oh gosh, I forget, gotta use this. I can't believe I did that. Here, gotta use this cover. Okay, doubles up. The cover doubles up as your handguard when you're using the tool. Okay, so just rewind what I showed you. Put the handguard in place. Use the handguard. You see mine here is kind of chipped and scratched up because with bigger blades you can run over your ceramic rods, and if you're not careful, okay, your blade starts entering this region over here of the tool, and that's basically where your meat and flesh are. So you're going to want to use the handguard, unlike what I just showed you there. So the carbide tip blade, I don't know, sharpener or whatever here, is something I don't use. I tried it on the Spyderco, and I don't know, it just didn't seem like it did. It didn't really seem like it did anything. It tore a bunch of metal shavings off the first maybe one or two pulls through it, but after that it didn't really do anything. So I said, okay, what the hell, I guess I'm done with that. At that point I switched over to the diamond hone, and that's where I achieved this edge here. So hope you guys can see that. It's not the cleanest looking edge without a doubt, but it's a serviceable edge. And the question you ask yourself is, again, how sharp do you really need your knife? And this, the edge that's on this Spyderco is perfectly good for box cutting, letter opening, barbecue opening, hot dog package opening. It will easily cut paracord and nylon cordage, at the Cub Scout camp-out meetings, camp-outs and things like that. So perfectly good EDC, perfectly serviceable EDC, and that's what I use basically for that. So I also use this system on my kitchen knives. This is a German Henkel kitchen knife, and much like the same process with the handguard this time, same process. Draw your blade down. It's more of a pulling action because you need to pull the blade more so because it's a longer blade and the geometry of the ceramic rods is not really that long. Okay, but again, the same thing. You're listening and feeling for symmetry. Right to left symmetry is what you want, and once you have that, you're going to have a really, really sharp blade. Okay, so the other thing I do is after that I take two passes on my leather strop. Okay, and you don't need to go at this very hard. Just one or two like light passes on the strop. I use the green crayon, basically polishing compound, for lack of a better term, green. Okay, high gloss polishing in green, and that's the one I use. Load up my strop with that, and I basically made the strop here using leather, and you basically put two passes on the strop. I can actually show you that. Here we go. Two passes on the strop using my kitchen knife. Okay, 1, 2, and they pull back. 1, 2. Okay, now that's all I have found necessary. Okay, in fact, I think it actually dulls the blade, actually removes some material if you go at it too hard or if your angle's not right. So I generally go at it fairly gently with on the strop here, and from that I get a very serviceable edge on my tools, blades, my kitchen knife here, as you see, and basically I'm good to go. So I don't know, I'm not sure where I'll go from here. I guess there's two directions I could go from here. If I wanted to spend more money, I could get better diamond hones, larger diamond hones, and further develop my hand-eye coordination with that, or maybe whetstones as well. Wet-dry sandpaper, okay? Wet-dry aluminum oxide, or whatever it is, abrasive paper I should say, is another option that I need to look into. The other thing is I could also look into the Lansky ceramic rod sharpeners, as well as the Spyderco Sharpmaker. And there's some more money, more investment, more learning curve associated with that. But for now, for this system, it's basically about a $25 system. You know, maybe a few bucks for, you know, the strop, and the Smith's 3-in-1 was $21 at REI, and it's a good basic, what I consider a basic entry-level setup. And I guess if I had one complaint about the Smith's 3-in-1 is it's these rubber feet just aren't big enough. Okay, and so it slips and slides across, you know, the table, and so that's kind of annoying. I'll probably go to Home Depot or Michael's or one of those places and get some taller rubber feet here and upgrade it with that, because you're spending so much, again, so much energy, hand and eye coordination skill and energy and muscle fatigue just going into fixturing, and that's really the key point here, just fixturing and blade angle. That's the hardest thing to do. So the nice thing about the Smith's 3-in-1 is the ceramic rods stow nicely, safely underneath. You lock it in place, cover up the hone, and you're good to go. You can you know, bug out bag carry this or pack carry it. Although I don't know if I'd want to, but maybe, who knows. The option is definitely there if I really want to, and you're good to go. So thanks a lot, guys, for sitting through this review. This is the Muvo TX review of the Smith's 3-in-1 sharpening system. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you later.